Well, it's time to take down these Christmas lights because Christmas is officially over. What was that? Oh, good evening, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode here at Wildman Lifts. I'm your host, Wildman. So on today's episode, I went to the commercial gym and I did back squats with chains. Now, the reason why I'm using chains right now is because I'm trying to do a lot of volume while squatting below parallel. So let's jump in and let's see what we did today. So on today's menu, the main focus is going to be on the back squat. There's many different kinds of squats out there, but the back squat is by far my most favorite because its development for overall movement and strength beats any other squat that I can think of. And I'm going to be adding the chains onto the back squat today. So the idea is to have those chains depressed into the ground on my descent. So as I begin to stand up with it, it'll get heavier at the top. And I'm going to be doing back squat with chains and going up in weight while doing 3 ring pull-ups in between my sets. And I'm also going to be doing, I got called out calling these dragon flags, so I'll just call them Wildman flags because I do them continuously for core and stability strength. And that's going to be the giant set for the day. Now, the reason why I'm adding chains to the squat is because all year I've been training only the parallel and I've been using a box. So I would squat down to the box, which was just at parallel, and then I would stand up with it. And this was mainly just to train the back squat in a much safer way. But now I've been training below parallel towards the end of this year. Now, if you've ever back squatted before, you will know that every inch you go below parallel is taking about 50 pounds. You could typically back squat if you had just stopped at parallel. So it's minus 50 every inch is usually the rule of thumb. So that's why I've decided I'm going to train below parallel because it's a much harder movement. But I don't want to do it with weight that's too heavy. So training this way I feel is a little bit safer because I'm able to start heavy at the top, but once I get down to that bottom, I feel pretty comfortable because about 45 pounds is being relieved by the time it reaches the bottom. So I'm able to control the weight a lot better if something was to go wrong. And those little tiny muscles that I haven't been using to go below parallel all year is getting some activation. So that's why I choose to train like this. It makes it just easier for me to prepare for myself to handle heavier loads in the future and have a safe training session. And for this training session, this was all I was doing. I was just doing 3 reps until what felt comfortable. And I was surprised of how comfortable that last one was. I was kind of thinking like that was gonna be my max for the day. But I decided to load it up to 400 pounds and the goal was to hit 3. Just to see how I felt. Even if I could do more, I decided I was only going to stop there. And these felt absolutely great. So this meant that everything I was doing to train was working out very well. My form looks good. The descent looks good. The squat up out of the hole looked very strong. So this was a great training session, and I'm glad that I chose to train like this for a safer method. And once I was done with my pull-ups and my Wildman flags, since I can't call these dragon flags because I guess I am using momentum, but these still are helpful, especially when you're doing squats. It helps with stabilizing the bar and using your core. But I like to do variation lifts after I'm done doing the back squat. One of my favorite variation lifts is the front squat. And the reason being is it targets your anterior chain, your core, and your quads. And the back squat works more of your posterior chain, your glutes, and your hamstrings, but it still uses your quads. So this is just a great way to finish off the workout by stimulating the body to do something different. And if I was fresh, front squats would be a lot easier for me. But when you're done lifting with the back squat, it's very difficult to even throw on 225 pounds like here. This felt very, very heavy to me because I was fatigued from doing the back squats. So again, this is just more of a variation lift. I try to just get this to isolate my quads and my core and give it a different stimulus so that overall training looks good. Hey Frank, how you doing? Frank's always impressed when I do front squats. Thanks, Frank. And once I was done with that, or I guess I should say in between my sets, I was still doing my 3 pull-ups on the rings, and I was continuing to do my Wildman flags. Now, as the new year has begun, I'm now shifting over into doing a lot more volume training, which is going to require chains, bands, and anything else that I can do in order to increase speed through the middle and take it a little easier at the bottom of the lifts in order to gain more strength. Until next time, thanks for joining me this evening. Thank you.